By the final years of World War II, Nazi Germany was a crumbling empire. Its cities lay in ruins from relentless Allied bombing. Its industries were strangled by blockades. Its skies, once dominated by the Luftwaffe, were now patrolled by thousands of Allied fighters and bombers. But in the midst of this collapse, German scientists and engineers were working on something that seemed pretty much from the future. A weapon so advanced it didn't even look like an aircraft. It was called the Horten Ho 229, and it might have been the world's first stealth bomber. To understand how this strange futuristic machine came to be, we have to go back to two young brothers in Germany, Walter and Reimar Horten. Born in the early 1900s, the Horten brothers were aviation fanatics. Reimar, the younger, was a true visionary. Largely self-taught, he became obsessed with the idea of the flying wing, an aircraft with no fuselage or tail, just a single smooth wing, with the crew, engines and payload all built inside. But why a flying wing? It creates less drag, offered better fuel efficiency, and theoretically could fly faster and farther than conventional planes. But in 1930, it was more of a dream than a reality. Reimer and Walter began designing and testing flying wing gliders in the early 1930s. They were part of the Hitler Youth and later the Luftwaffe. Their designs, designated H1 through to H4, impressed many with their stability and speed, despite lacking a tail. By 1943, with the Second World War going badly for the Germans, Hermann Göring, the head of the Luftwaffe, issued a bold challenge to German aircraft designers. He called it the 3 times 1,000 project. Their goal, to build a fighter bomber that could carry 1,000 kilograms of bombs, fly 1,000 kilometers, and reach a top speed of 1,000 kilometers an hour. It was almost impossible, but the Horten brothers believed their radical flying wing could do it. Their design became the HO 229. It had no tail, no vertical stabilizer, and no traditional fuselage. Instead, it was a sleek, crescent-shaped wing made of wood and advanced composite materials. To reach the required speed, the Horten brothers turned to jet propulsion, installing 2 Junkers UMO 004 turbojet engines, the same ones used in the Messerschmitt Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter. The aircraft structure was primarily wood, partially due to aluminium shortages, and partially to reduce its radar signature. Whether by accident or design, the wooden glue and resin skin may have had some radar absorbent qualities. Later tests suggested that the HO 229 could have been much harder to detect by British radar than conventional bombers. This was 1944, and the Germans may have been on the brink of creating the world's first stealth aircraft. The first prototype, the HO 229 V1, was a glider. It flew in March 1944 and demonstrated promising handling. The second version, the V2, was the first to be powered by jet engines. It took off in December 1944. In test flights, it reached speeds of nearly 800 kilometers an hour, or 497 miles per hour, faster than almost any Allied aircraft at the time. But during one of its final test flights, disaster struck. The pilot, Erwin Ziller, died in a crash after one of the engines failed on approach. Still, the design showed enormous promise. If the war had continued another year, a squadron of HO 229s may have reached the skies and perhaps even changed the course of aerial combat. But time was not on the side of Nazi Germany. In early 1945, American forces advanced through Western Germany. One of their key targets was the sites where the HO 229 prototypes were being built. When US troops arrived, they found the unfinished V3 prototype still in the hangar. Operation Paperclip, a secret US program to seize German scientific and engineering knowledge, then took over. The V3 was disassembled and shipped to the United States, and it would never fly. In the United States, aviation engineers were stunned. The idea of a jet-powered flying wing was something American companies were only just beginning to explore. Northrop Aircraft in particular had been working on its own flying wing designs, like the YB-35 and later the YB-49. Some aviation historians believe that the Horten design influenced post-war thinking, and possibly even inspired aspects of the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber decades later. Today, the only surviving Horten HO 229 V3 resides in the Smithsonian's Udvar Hazy Centre near to Washington, D.C. It's been carefully preserved and partially restored, giving visitors a glimpse of what could have been Nazi Germany's most advanced warplane. The Horten Flying Wing never flew in combat. It never bombed London, never shot down Allied bombers, and never changed the course of the war. But it was a glimpse into the future. A design so far ahead of its time, it felt like science fiction, yet it was very real. In the final days of the Third Reich, amidst the chaos and collapse, two brothers built an aircraft that would shape the next 80 years of aviation. A flying wing, a jet-powered ghost, a whisper in the radar, the Horten HO229. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share, as it really does help the channel. And once again, thanks for watching.